If you're struggling to feel consistent or excited about promoting your OnlyFans or marketing your spicy brand or your work in any way, shape, or form, and I know you do because these reels and these memes go viral every time and these subreddits exist. So what we're going to do, we're going to pause, we're going to take a new approach. Call it a glow up or a content rebrand, if you will. And because you've already done the hard work in part 1 and part 2, you've dug up your why. And yes, even posting just hot photos of yourself counts as a why. You've audited all your platforms to find what's really worth your time. Now you're going to rebrand as the seductive woman and marketer and entrepreneur and businesswoman you're meant to be. What is seduction in this context? And by context, I mean inviting people in to subscribe to your content, follow you on Instagram, tip you big money, get from A to B in your customer funnel. You're a babe, that's why you're here. But seduction, funnily enough, has nothing to do with looks. It's an essence, it's an act, it's a behavior. You'll finally see why some content creators get huge followers, big money, and others might get scrolled past. Most importantly, how to step into the seductive energy that works for you. But my favorite part is this. Let me read it to you. Thousands of years ago, power was mostly gained through physicality and maintained with brute strength. In the face of brutality, women made seduction a sophisticated art, the ultimate form of power and persuasion. Women learned to work on the mind first, use fantasies, keep men wanting more, creating patterns of hope and despair, the essence of seduction. Women invented seduction straight from this book. Come on, girl. And when I tell you that this book changed my perception on everything I just spoke about, content, sales, marketing, branding, it finally gave me the piece of the puzzle that I had needed to help my clients understand where and why they were stuck, why they hadn't seen their strengths and applied it to strategy. And I know this as well because I applied it to myself. That's exactly what you're going to learn in my spicy, self-paced content strategy course, Seduce Your Socials. These modules and support from me give you everything you might have otherwise been missing or winging it when it comes to building a personal brand online. Self-promotion can be really hard. Selling can be hard. Getting paid can be hard sometimes. So when we reframe our thinking and our energy to create a new plan, we make it sexy for everybody, for all involved. This book also outlines the 9 main archetypes of seduction, detailing how they seduce their prey. So let me explain all of these archetypes really quickly, like 1 minute each, and see if you notice these in some of your comfort creators or people that you follow online already. A siren is the most well-known seductress. You imagine someone who is extremely alluring and has a magnetic field that's impossible to ignore, stemming from the ancient mythology and tales of the sirens of the sea, who would sing, and anyone who heard them, often men at sea, would wreck their ships in order to find them. A siren always displays a hint of helplessness or childlike innocence and isn't overly assertive. In content, I notice that these sirens of the internet are often really artistic and creative in how they create and post. Luring people to their page comes naturally because they approach content differently. More often than not, they actually usually don't make that much eye contact with the camera, or if they do, it's really intentional. The rake makes great politicians. These seductresses are highly skilled communicators. They hold such power in their words, and they are rarely outwitted or lose a debate. The best rake in pop culture that comes to mind for me quickly is Samantha Jones.
Would you like some fresh pepper?
Oh, honey, I'd love some fresh pepper.
And I think that says it all. Rakes don't rely on their looks, but their brain. And their mind is so seductive and they're so convincing when they speak. They have such strong power when holding conversations. So another amazing example is actually Amelia de Moldenberg from Chicken Shop Date, because she is an incessant flirt. If you've ever watched any of her interviews, you are so trapped in the 10 minutes of an interview it is, because it's so engaging to watch and she is so good at just finding new things to say. Therefore, rakes excel on platforms where words are king, like Substack, newsletters, or long-form content on YouTube. The ideal lover is a really unique kind of seductress, and one that I see most often in girlfriend experience providers or sexual health educators or therapists, something where your emotional bank is really needed to be seductive. The ideal lover are expert market researchers, and they have an ability to understand their audience quickly and provide something that they are searching for. An ideal lover usually provides a quick win off the bat to help affirm their audience's choice to follow or engage with them. So for a brand or service provider, this might be something like a freebie. Even for OnlyFans or creators, like a freebie or a gesture of goodwill works a treat as an ideal lover. The way an ideal lover holds their power is that they never really reveal their entire self. There's always a card that they're not showing, and that's so essential to your mental health online as well. The natural has everything to do with your carefree essence. You're natural archetyped if you exist playfully and carefree. You're reminiscent of childhood when you had like no responsibilities, no bills, no looming existential crises. People are drawn to you through a sense of wanting to live your carefree life or live that way. Your mantra would literally be, the more fun I have, the more money I make. Naturals are also really engaging storytellers, and your audience on the other side of the camera feels really engaged to you. An amazing example of this is Drew Barrymore. She's free-spirited, has a glimmer in her eye, and people around the world love her. So naturals make amazing comfort creators. The coquette is commonly mistaken for pinks, frills, ultra feminine, especially after the Barbie wave of 2023. So this is not about the coquette trend. The coquette is a woman who endeavors without sincere affection to gain attention and admiration of someone else. Typically in a fashion that is hot and cold. It's probably the best way I can describe it to you. But coquettes are world conquerors. These are really amazing women that I've read about in this book. They are so control of their emotions in a way that benefits them, and they are really powerful in a behind the scenes kind of way. A notorious coquette to help paint this picture, although fictional, is Mr. Big. He goes hot and cold on Carrie, and it drives her to insanity. Dominatrixes or doms really suit this archetype. A dandy is almost certainly on your For You page every day. A dandy pushes the edges in their self-expression in their content. Maybe they do sketches or skits. They find the best audios that no one else is using, or they have mastered interesting editing. Essentially, they approach marketing in a totally unique way. And you can absolutely do this as someone who is spicy, and it's something I don't really see enough of on the internet. A dandy, by the book, is someone who plays with their femininity and masculinity, like outfits that they take on and off, like David Bowie or Lady Gaga. So taking this idea further is a brand or creator who is so enamoring because they do what most don't, and that's where their seductive energy lies. I've got 3 more archetypes to go, so let me know in the comments if any of these stand out to you or are feeling really true to you so far. And is it feeling good to start building a bit of a formula for how you naturally feel excited to create content? I do genuinely, wholeheartedly believe that creating content and showing up on the internet is an exchange of energy, and the energy that you bring when you're filming or creating is received on the other end. I go so much more in depth on all of these archetypes. You don't have to stick to this 60-second example. And we use these deep dives to build a really hot and unbothered content strategy inside Seduce Your Socials. So you can find the link below. Charmers are masters of making people feel at ease. They disarm and they charm, always remaining calm and genuine in their demeanor. And they are excellent at seducing, because who doesn't want to feel validated? The best way I can explain is that charmers are like a mirror. They learn their audience and they reflect their shine back onto them, showing them the good parts of themselves. making the receiver feel adored, seen, heard, and like the most important person in the room. It might be a bit tricky to see how this translates to content, but really this comes through in how well you understand your audience. If you are wanting to draw in a certain type of client, you need to show that you actually understand them, their desires, how they talk, and use words and language that they actually use. I am pretty sure that we all know a charismatic archetype. These seductresses are the life of the party. They always get amazing photos for Instagram. They have no problem chatting to strangers. They are magnetic through their larger than life aura, and it's so endearing to see someone who lives their life unapologetically. A wonderful example of a creator who embodies this is Esme Louise of Kinky History. Finally, we have the star. The name is really kind of self-explanatory. However, in the book, The Art of Seduction details that the star still has kind of like an outer layer that remains a blank slate, ready to have fantasies projected onto them at any time by the person that they're trying to seduce. So they will keep most of it hidden, and they have that star quality and that energy, and when someone desires to see a part of them, they'll like let them have that. And star creators completely lean into being influential models and being seen online. Stars are always working on something next and documenting those highlights to keep their audience on the journey and interested. Because after all, a star is nothing without an audience. So now that you know a tiny bit about the 9 archetypes, tell me which one feels so yummy and delicious to you, or better yet, which one do you want to embody more in your content? I believe this is the key that's missing to a lot of spicy creators online, because you do get stuck in the trend loops, or you do drive yourself crazy trying to come up with something new and original each time to keep things interesting, when really a lot of it can just be filtered through your archetypes. And even after this little mini lesson, you might see it pop up. You might take a more strategic look at all the content that you see your peers doing or that you see on Instagram. If this has you thinking, holy shit, I need to lean into my seductive archetype or this energy so much more often and it will make me more money, I want my content to work harder for me, then that's why I built this course. Seduce Your Socials is your self-paced course with support from me to turn your online presence into a magnet for attention, engagement, and actual money. Everything's in the notes below. Please reach out. Please go follow me on Instagram if you enjoyed this lesson and you have successfully started your journey from going from babe to brand.